Holtville, Iowa, 2002. Burying our dead has been a long-standing tradition, but not all of our dead have names or loved ones. In this Potter's Field, our unclaimed dead have unexpected neighbors. Let us explore. Fletcher's Grove, a publicly funded cemetery for the indigent and outcast, commonly known as a Potter's Field. In March of 2002, caretaker Harold Hart was doing his usual rounds around the grounds when he noticed something peculiar. A far corner of the field deemed unsuitable for burials had an unexpected flurry of color. A bright flower was blooming that he had never seen before. Upon closer inspection, he noticed a simple wooden cross, a grave marker, but one he hadn't seen before and was quite alarmed at discovering. The ground was undisturbed, so at first he thought it was a prank, but decided to call the authorities as a precaution. An investigation ensued, which eventually led to an exhumation of the gravesite. What they discovered defied explanation. In a plain wooden casket, they found the remains of a woman who was determined by carbon dating to be approximately 120 years old. Fletcher's Grove was established in 1927, meaning this body somehow predated the cemetery by 45 years. Investigators were baffled. And now a word from our sponsor, Preston & Preston Products.
Has life slowed you down? Are you experiencing issues in the bedroom? The friendly folks at Preston & Preston have a solution. Introducing Achieva. Forget pills. Achieva uses an all-natural approach to bring you back up to speed. We ship you a Brazilian wandering spider, along with instructions on how to feed and care for it. When it's time for intimacy, just allow the spider to bite you and see the results for yourself. Warning: erection may last up to 12 hours. Seek medical attention if erection lasts over 24 hours to avoid permanent erectile dysfunction. Preston & Preston's Achieva. We know what you need before you do.
Fletcher's Grove, 2002. A mysterious gravesite has been discovered with the 120-year-old remains of a woman. The operators of the cemetery showed no records of a burial in that section of the land and reported that previously the land had been unoccupied, making the chances of the body being buried there in 1882 unlikely. During the exhumation, investigators did determine the ground had not been recently excavated. Eventually, the investigation was dropped, and the woman, being unidentified, was returned to her resting place. But nearly a year later, another body appeared in the same area. Another investigation ensued, but with similar results. Over the following years, more and more graves appeared, apparently overnight, and eventually the town officials ceased investigating new incidents, believing the phenomenon to be an elaborate prank. However, the resulting mystery inspired a slew of independent investigators to continue searching for answers. A botanist observed the odd flower growing there, identifying it as a torch ginger, extremely rare and native to Southeast Asia. Furthering the mystery, teams set up surveillance on the site, but captured no evidence, despite at least one new grave appearing during their watch. Paranormal researchers also found no evidence of supernatural causes. Eventually, a theoretical physicist proposed a different idea, that the site was actually an overlap with an alternate reality. And now another word from our sponsor.
It's the age-old question. If you could know when you were going to die, would you want to? For those of us that say yes, the friendly folks at Preston & Preston have a solution. Introducing the Death Clock. Custom built by witch engineers. Just apply one small drop of blood to the clock and the countdown begins. Worried you might die on that business trip or that vacation? Think that illegal arms deal might be your last? Worry no more. Preston & Preston's Death Clock. We know what you need before you do.
Seriously, who is paying for this show? Where were we? Right. A scientist proposes that the mystery at Fletcher's Grove could be an intrusion from an alternate reality. Dr. Nathan Fleming explains.
To understand the theory of alternate realities, we must rely on quantum mechanics, the study of atomic and subatomic particles. In a nutshell, as Professor Hawking might have said, subatomic particles exist in a state outside of normal mechanics, where they can exist and not exist simultaneously, which we call superposition. If a photon of light strikes a partially silvered mirror, it can both reflect off the mirror and pass through it. Only one of those will happen in an experiment, but until that experiment, this photon juggles these outcomes at the same time, hence creating two possible, different realities. Since the act of observation itself may influence the outcome, it's virtually impossible at this point to detect that alternate universe. That only means that our interaction with that photon directly helped in the creation of that other reality.
Does that mean the graves in Fletcher's Grove could be proof of an alternate reality?
What? Oh, goodness, no. I think that would be exceedingly unlikely.
But it's theoretically possible?
Well, I guess it's possible.
So there you have it. These mysterious graves in Fletcher's Grove don't appear to be the work of pranksters or the supernatural, but an alternate reality could be responsible. To date, 19 new graves have materialized. Officials ceased investigating these graves in 2009, so only the first 7 were confirmed to have bodies within, making it possible the others are the work of practical jokers. As humans, curiosity is built into our DNA to seek out and learn how and why things happen. When confronted with a situation that has no explanation, how can we make peace with that? The mystery at Fletcher's Grove may never be definitively solved, but that won't stop us from seeking answers. I'm Peter Brown, and I'll see you next time on Explore. So I just looked up this Brazilian wandering spider, and it's true. That's nuts. I don't need it, but I guess if you didn't want to take a pill, I think there was a book that had something like that in there about a guy who would catch spiders for that